Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so my name is Vishwanand, and we have a good amount of people I get to see. So with me, I have a Sreejith, and today's webinar, I would like to have a bit candid, okay, with a lot of life and energy, okay, and rather than being a little formal and a formal aspect. And I don't want to take, I find Sreejith to be highly articulative, and he's very passionate about how he went about building the applications. So I'll keep it a communication very short and simple from my end, and because I always see that the people who build applications, they are more passionate to talk about themselves and the applications. So that opportunity, I will leave it to Sreejith. So thanks a lot, Sreejith, for coming for today's webinar. Sreejith leads YQ.social. And in a very simple one-liner, I can tell you is that Sreejith application makes communication highly personalized. Okay, so if you look at it as a physicians, the healthcare professionals, since this webinar is more focused on the healthcare professionals, they have been bombarded daily with, if I'm not wrong, the 1,000 messages, okay, and maybe coming from the 10 different companies, their universities, their peers, okay. And in that particular scenario, the applications, what is required is that how we are going to personalize the communication. And that is what today's the webinar would be highly focused on. And to those people who may not be knowing about me, I lead IMC, InFocus RX Marketing and Communications. So we are into the business of healthcare consulting and strategy, and we predominantly we focus on strategic marketing aspects. And thanks to Manisha and the team from MedEduPro who organized this particular webinar. Okay, and I'm sure that the coming 45 minutes to 1 hour is going to be something very unique, which probably not many of us might have come across. So with that, Sreejith, as and when required, I may pop in and ask for questions, but now the floor is all yours.
Rishi, thanks for the opportunity to reach out to your MedEduPro audience. It's been, I'll quickly jump into, because we have a very short time. I wanted to kind of keep 10-15 minutes for question answers, and and I wanted to keep this very interactive as a session. So wherever you have a point of view or a question, please put your hand up on Zoom. We'll take certain pauses in between, and we'll keep answering those questions and also hearing to your views in between. So having said that, let me quickly start sharing my screen. Session, we decided between Vishy and me, we were kind of thinking, what do we call this session and how would we make it the most effective or useful for all of you who are joining in. So we said, hey, why don't we have a session about making digital customer engagement a reality for pharma marketing folks, and 3 tools that you can use to, and as a additional takeaway from this webinar, I also kind of give you a brief overview of 3 tools that you can use to impact your brand and communication, right, for going forward from today onwards. So I'll just quickly start with something about myself. I've been I've been working for more than 12 years now, probably about 13. I've been in multiple domains, healthcare being the most recent one. I've also spent a considerable amount of time in automobiles, and also had a short stint in e-commerce. Again, in terms of functions, I've covered the gamut of sales, marketing, and digital. So in my previous organization, I started off as a business analyst for the India, in a pharma organization. I started off as a business analyst for the entire India market, sales and commercial team. And then, I went up the ranks and came out as a product manager. So I'll kind of give you a brief about all the things that I built during that time as well. So basically, I was responsible for the entire pharma marketing stack. So everything from the time that marketer thinks about doing any marketing activity to creating the content, I helped bring about or create the backend which enables all of these marketing functions, right? So that is where I have a deep understanding of how pharma marketing works. Obviously, I'm not a marketing practitioner, pharma marketer myself, but I built the technology backend for all of this. So everything from activity and content approvals to contract automation. So we were the first in the market to build something called the contract automation for for the healthcare sector. So whenever you have a CME or a conference, there are multiple contracts that have to be signed, right? So this process in itself used to take anywhere from a month to 2 months. And we theoretically, at the end of the whole thing, you could complete the entire process from the activity creation to the contract signing to PO creation, everything within half an hour. So that is one of the biggest things that we did. And omni-channel digital engagement, this came about as during COVID, there was a huge problem with about 5,000 sales personnel stuck at home. How do we enable our sales folks to and our marketing folks to reach doctors at scale, right? So that is where we kind of built this entire platform, which would enable our sales marketing reps or medical reps to reach doctors across channels, SMS, email, WhatsApp, phone calls, and even physical, and bring it all together, bring all of this engagement information, right? So data about how much time was spent on digital, how much time was spent on physical, bringing it all into one, what we call a data lake, which is basically a huge database of all engagement with physicians. I have also been part of multiple design thinking programs within the company, as well as been a partner to a Fortune 50 company in enabling design thinking and innovation, and also creating what we call innovation ambassadors for that company. I'm an engineer from NIT Surat, and I've done my MBA from IIM Bangalore. So that's me in brief. About my company, again, I'll just keep it very short. So I'll give you a demo of what we do, so you'll get a more, better understanding of what it is that we do. We are primarily helping healthcare companies, whether it's nutritional companies or diagnostic companies or pharma companies, reach out to their customers across using WhatsApp as a channel. Any channel is possible, but WhatsApp we figured out is a great channel to communicate and connect with users, and we'll get to that as well. The unique proposition that we've kind of created is something called real-time content personalization. That's also something that we'll touch upon later. I also do a little bit of digital consulting for some of these companies on the side. So that's about YQ.social. Now, I wanted we've been in the age of digital for the last 4-5 years, right? Everybody's speaking digital, everybody's saying, hey, digital engagement, digital marketing, we should be doing digital. But what is digital according to you? So, maybe somebody can unmute yourself or, put your responses in the chat. But what according to you is digital, or what is digital engagement as per you? If anybody has I want to keep this very open, because see, I have a certain point of view of what digital is, right? And there are 1,000 people if you ask 1,000 people what is digital, everybody has their point of view, and all of that is correct. So that is, digital has become like this catch-all phrase where everybody, everybody has their own definition of what digital is. But I kind of wanted to know what your understanding of digital is. And so it's learning for me as well, right? Like what, and I'll tell you what my understanding of digital engagement is at the end of this.
Sure. So Sreejith, I'll try to keep it very simple here. I would say that it's all about broadcasting, interaction, and the engagement aspect.
Okay. Broadcasting, interaction, and engagement. That's great. That's one point of view. Thanks, Vishi, for that. So Anand is saying, hey, someone who engages with clients across channels or omni-channel, right? So what is omni-channel? Omni-channel, you have these multiple terms called multi-channel and omni-channel. I'll just quickly give you a little bit of understanding about the difference. So multi-channel is basically, reaching a customer across multiple channels, as the word says. You can reach the customer across email, SMS, WhatsApp, and physical. Omni-channel is, yes, you reach the customer across multiple channels, but omni-channel is you can call that interaction omni-channel when it is the same conversation across multiple channels. So the same conversation which started as a physical conversation continues as a WhatsApp conversation, continues as an email conversation. So the backend infrastructure is intelligent enough to continue the same conversation across multiple channels. So that is omni-channel. Flexible communication, that's great, because digital obviously brings in huge flexibility in how we reach out to customers. That's also a great valid point. Thanks, Velma, for that. Any other points of view? So I'll just maybe go quickly to the next slide. So when people talk about digital, right, they say, hey, engagement where there is some AI in the backend, right, or where all the engagement data is being captured in the cloud, in live, right? So you have your CRM, which is obviously a part of every company's technology stack now, and the CRMs have gone to the cloud. So does that by itself make your communication or your engagement digital? A lot of engagement has now moved on to mobile or onto web. Does that by itself make your engagement digital? Or if you've added a layer of analytics to all the engagement that you do, does that make your engagement digital? Right. So different people have different points. Yeah.
Hi, Sreejith. It's Anupraya. So since you were just asking what exactly digital engagement is, so I'll just like to put on a very brief layman term to it. So as per my understanding, digital is something wherein with different means or modes of devices or of through platforms and tools, when we try and engage with the customers, with the audiences in real time, or even in not real time scenario, but when we engage with them through this, I would say, different platforms and devices, which actually helps us to reach out to the exact customer we want to, and also to the target audience which we want. Because I feel the traditional or the other way, offline way of it is to meet somebody one to one, but digital is where considering different platforms, as you said, mobile, different technologies, and data part. So it's basically I would say an easy way for the audience and for even for the marketer to reach out and not just engagement, to introduce our services and products through these options.
Correct. So great. Thanks, Anupriya, for that. So you've kind of brought together a lot of points about what digital is, for a marketer, right? Now, like I said, I myself do not have a definition for what digital is, right? But what I have is, what I know is what digital enables you to do. So digital is all of what all of you said. It is multiple platforms, it is multiple devices, it is analytics, it's AI, all of that. But what digital enables you to do is more important for me as a marketer, right? As a marketer, I want to be able to conduct multiple experiments quickly, cheaply, right? And scale what works. So I'll just bring in that paradigm of what used to happen in the physical world and what is happening now, right? As a pharma company, you reach out to, earlier used to, or even now, a lot of people have brochures. You reach out to your doctors with those brochures, right? Your basically MR medical rep goes to the doctor's cabin, and he or she gets about 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes is all what anybody gets with a doctor nowadays. They get 2 to 3 minutes. They're going through their brochure. You've built that brochure with planning, which is like you have your yearly plans, you have your half yearly plans, you have a quarterly plan, and you have your content strategy. You've created that brochure according to your content strategy, and you have executed your content strategy with that brochure. Now the execution is happening with the medical rep. Now what happens is, for you to understand what has happened in the market, right, with that content strategy of yours, will take at least 2 months, because what we have in the pharma world, we have something called RCPA, or where it actually hits the ground is your sales numbers or your market share. Now, for you to get understanding of how your strategy, how your content strategy, your marketing strategies work, you'll get to know at the end of the second month, right? When your sales numbers start coming in. Till then, you're completely blind as to what has happened with your your strategy, right? Your marketing engagement. What digital allows you to do is to, so a lot of companies have now moved from brochures to showing their visual aids on iPads. Now, what has that iPad brought into the game? A lot of companies also do, they do what we call paper on glass, which is earlier you had a paper brochure. Now you just converted it into a PDF on an iPad and you're showing it to the doctor. That I'm not talking about that, right? So you have what we call smart visual aids, where we are capturing at every point in time how much time was spent on each slide of that VA with that specific doctor. At what time of the day was this? Did we meet that doctor? Who met the doctor? What is the what is the quadrant, or what we call marketing segment of the doctor? All of this information, right? Every visit, which is about 2 minutes long, can give you hundreds of data points, right? And you get that data in real time back in your dashboard. So if you're doing what we call a simple A/B testing, which is you basically have the same content that you want to send to your medical rep, right? Send to the field, but you have two versions of it, and you wanted to see which version of it is getting more time with the doctor, right? Within like 2 or 3 days, you will be able to figure out, hey, this doctor is actually interested in this content, or out of 500 doctors, right? About 400 or 250 of them spent more than a minute on this slide as compared to the other 250 who spent less than 30 seconds on this slide, which immediately gives you, a pointer towards what is working for you, right? That is what digital enables for you. So yes, digital is many things, but it is more important as a marketer to know what digital enables you to do. With like what Anupriya said and what Vishy said and what Anand said, you have multiple channels. Now it is possible for you to run multiple experiments across multiple channels in real time and get data in real time about what is working and immediately make changes to what your strategy is. And you see this happening with every other company, right? Like your Zomatos of the world and the Swiggies of the world. If you see that their content strategies are changing every day, right? They're trying to they're sending you an email, they're sending you a offer, and they're trying to see, hey, did you click on it? Did you not click on it? If you clicked on an offer for biryani, then the next day again, if you've not ordered for biryani again, they'll send you another biryani notification within a week, right? So they're constantly learning, and that's what digital enables you to do. And for that, yes, all of these things in the backend, right? What we were discussing, AI, cloud storage, computing, mobile, analytics, all of this is basically enabling you to run these digital experiments. So that is what digital is. And this is something that a lot of people, this is the most important lesson that I have learned around what the importance of digital to enterprise. What is unique about pharma marketing, right? This is a very interesting field that we are all in, because I've been in multiple other industries. Like I said, I've been in automobile, I've been in e-commerce, but the difference with pharma is that you have these traditional concepts of B2B marketing or B2C marketing, and you have strategies around, hey, if it is B2B marketing, this is your strategy, right? You will have account managers, you will have people going and meeting those accounts on a regular basis. B2C marketing is a lot around just doing a lot of top of the line marketing, where you are basically doing a lot of advertisements, billboards, right? A lot of SEO, SEM, all that stuff. Or is it B2B2C? So what in your understanding is pharma marketing and what is unique about it? Maybe Vishy, like, do you have a point of view on this? What is pharma? Because you're a veteran at this, right? Like you've seen every angle of this. What do you think is, where do you think pharma marketing sits?
See, the currently means there is a two phases, I would say. Earlier, it was more a physician-driven communication. Currently, it's more on the patient-driven communication. So keeping it now in the pharma marketing, who is my customer? That is what it has to be determined. Okay. And the decision makers for prescribing your drugs are the doctors whom we go about educating it. Okay. Who finally prescribes to the patients. Okay. So I would, it goes like B2D2C. Okay.
Yeah.
Or else it is B2, B2, D2, D2, and C. That means D2D is the peer-to-peer.
Yes.
So keeping that, I see that, it becomes means in today's pharma marketing is very, very highly tricky because of the patient centricity coming into the picture.
Yes.
So, okay. So that would be a point for us to think and move forward, but you are expert in it. You've been working for the largest company, which is enabling the digital transformation. So we are curious to know your view, Sreejith.
Yeah. So, again, I would say that pharma marketing is all of these, and also what Vishy added, right? It's P2P2, so it's P2P as well. So when you're actually, because pharma is interesting in the way that your customer is different from your consumer. You're reaching out, or at least in an RX paradigm, you're reaching out to a doctor, and the doctor is prescribing. So it's B2B. If you are doing OTC, it's B2C, right? You're going to sell your Crossins and your Vicks directly to customer, and we are moving on to B2B2C. So where a company, so what used to be the a problem, and still is a problem for a lot of healthcare companies, especially pharma companies, is that nobody knows who Micro Labs is, or nobody knows who GSK is, right? But everybody knows Crossin and Dolo, right? Or nobody knows who makes Horlicks, for example. Now that is moved to Zydus or Cadila. So the companies are now trying to become, companies are trying to create a brand name for themselves as well in the patient's mind. And how do you do that? Like, you cannot obviously reach out to customer directly because of the specific compliances around pharma and healthcare. So how do we enable B2B2C? So this is also an interesting new field which is coming up, and P2P, right? Like, you get this interesting and you get these happen very often, that it's actually a very smart marketing campaign, like a video which is created by a certain company, and it becomes a viral WhatsApp forward. So that's like, they kind of track that virality of how to make some, a specific content viral. So you're getting free publicity on the site, and you're also, engaging your stakeholders. So pharma marketing to me now is all three, and you will have to have strategies around, separate strategies around how do you handle all these three different paradigms of marketing. So, I broadly have like 4 pillars of what you need to do, what you need to keep in mind while you're creating your digital engagement strategy, right? So if you ask me, one very important thing, the one most important thing is to create value in every engagement, right? You have to think about, let's take the most generic example, right? Let's say you're doing Google is a huge digital platform. You go to Google to search, and but then there is value being exchanged at both ends. Now you're doing a search on Google. Google is giving you information, right? But Google is also showing you like 3 advertisements. Now there is, Google is getting something out of it by it is showing you engagement. You don't mind it as long as you are getting some value out of this whole out of that whole transaction. Similarly, let's say Facebook, again, you get to connect with all of your friends on Facebook. Facebook is giving you, or let's say LinkedIn also, you get to connect to your professional network. Both Facebook and LinkedIn throw advertisements at you. You don't mind it as long as the value that Facebook and LinkedIn is giving you is more than the value that they derive from you, which is showing you some advertisements and you may be clicking through it. So you might even actually get some value out of those advertisements as well, right? So what is it about digital engagement that you have to keep in mind? You have to create value. So let's say even if it is even if it is just sending your medical rep to a doctor with a visual aid, that there also you're giving some sort of education value, but you have to keep in mind that that novelty has to be there. It should not be the same visual aid every every week after week, right? So that's very important.
I didn't catch that. Could you try again?
That's Siri. Just give me a second. I should keep this off.
That's what I thought.
All right. I think that's it. Yeah. Now, all digital engagement has to be real time. Now, we kind of discussed this earlier as well. What do I mean by real time? Nobody has the time to wait now, right? I search on Google. Google should give me that answer within milliseconds or nanoseconds, right? I'll continue with the Google example. I search for something, and the answers that Google gives me will be very different from the answers that Google gives you, because Google has understood what, over years of my searches on Google has understood what I'm looking for, and it's feeding me personalized search results. So it's real time, it's personalized, and the most important, if you were to ask me, it has to be measurable. So, coming back to that whole point about digital, how is digital different from physical engagement? Digital enables you to conduct experiments and and act on them quickly. How do you are able to act on them quickly? Only if you have metrics, the right metrics, and you are measuring it, measuring it religiously, right? So these are broadly, say, maybe there are more that you can add to this, but to me, these are the 4 pillars of digital engagement that I would kind of look at. You have to create value in every engagement. The engagement has to be in real time. You don't want the person to wait. You have to personalize it for them, because that is also a value. Personalization is also a value, but I'm calling it out because it's a very important value. And most importantly for you, it has to be measurable. So yeah, so I think covered the first bit of my webinar, and I think we're like right at the halfway mark. Maybe I'll just take like 2 minutes. If you have any questions, we can just discuss about that while and then I'll move on to the next section, which is basically I'll just give you, I'll just take you through 3 tools which will kind of enable you to do some of your digital engagements, outreach slightly easier. So yeah, any questions, any feedback that you have?
Yeah. So, Sreejith, my request would be that, when you discuss about the tools, if you can take us through the real-time challenges which you were solving 2 years back when the COVID was there, and we had a challenge in terms of connecting with the doctors.
Yes.
And in that, and if we can focus with these 4 pillars, that how do we went about creating the value-based engagement, and it was highly real-time and very, very personalized. I would be very happy if we can show the audience that, how the personalized communication went. Okay. And the measurable, and that's up to you. So my request would be, if that's how, if we can present it, it would be great.
Okay. Yeah, I'll kind of cover most of it. But some of these are very tactical, but yeah, I'll try and ensure that there is a whole story around how the entire how it is kind of completely built up, right? So I'll get to that as well. So I wanted to kind of run you through the three, maybe like, when you're creating a digital engagement strategy, there are multiple things that you have to keep in mind, right? You have to have the right content, and the right content has to, to create the right content, maybe there are workflows, and also you have to choose the right channel through which you have to send that content. So broadly, let's say there are channel content workflow. I've chosen 3 of these. There could be many more parts to this thing, but I just chosen 3 tools which you can use to kind of kickstart your digital engagement quickly. Now, the first tool, and some of these might be very basic, but I would, maybe you can have some patience. Maybe I'll show you something very interesting which you didn't think was possible, and you might be able to actually use it, not necessarily in this the same use case, but you can use it in some other use case, right? So let me just start off with channel. Now, what is the whole point of selecting the right channel? It is about sending the right message to the right customer at the right time at scale and measuring the effectiveness of doing that. Now, I'll show you a simple hack. So this is, when if you don't have what you call, if you're a hacker and you don't have necessarily the resources right now to start off sending messages to people, you don't have a tool, right, ready-made to send messages at scale to people using WhatsApp. I'll show you a simple tool which will enable you to do that. This is like something that you can roll out to your medical reps, right? And you can take this idea forward and use it for multiple other things as well. And also I'll show you how you can make it measurable. I'll not spend too much time on it because showing you that takes a little bit of time. So I'll just quickly tell you how that works, and then I'll quickly move on to the next tool. And you can always come reach out to me later on. I'll give you my contact details later on. With if you want help with any of these things, I'll be more than happy to help with that. So let me quickly show you. So let's say you are a marketer and you're only stuck with your current CRM which your medical reps use to go to the field and speak to doctors with. But you also you have a webinar coming up and you want to send that webinar invite to, like 1,000 doctors over WhatsApp as well, right? Just like what Vishy had, like Vishy wanted to send out this webinar invite to multiple people. Currently, he would have done a lot of social media marketing and email marketing, etc. But let's say he had a bunch of phone numbers and he wanted to send it across to multiple people on WhatsApp as well. So now, there's a simple WhatsApp template that I've created. If you put in your email addresses at the beginning of this webinar, I will, ask Vishy to share this template with you as well. It's very simple. Like once you understand how it works, you can create your own templates similarly. Now, let's say the message that you want to send is, please join for a webinar on how to support your patients in the digital age, right? And there is a link to this webinar. Now, I put a few instructions over here. That's something that you can go to, and you can say, you can have hi, hello, dear, whatever. So now here I'm going to put the data, right? Now you will have, let's say, you have a team of 100 medical reps reporting into you, and you are going to create these messages at scale, and you're going to send it to all of these 100 medical reps. So let's say I am one of the medical reps, and my name is Sreejith, right? So I'm going to put my name over here at multiple places. Let's see. Okay. And so this is my employee ID. And let me say there is one more employee called. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So there's, let's say, one more employee. 4321. Okay. So his name, let's say, is Pranay. Okay. So I'm gonna. There are 2 employees, and this is my email ID, just in case. These are, let's say, internal users. Okay. Pranay at YQ.
Email.
Yeah. And so you have you'll generally have a CRM ID for your doctors. You'll have a unique ID for your doctors. You're just gonna, just for your own sake, you're just gonna copy that over here, and you're gonna keep it. This is not going to add to anything. And you're gonna say 555 666 111. Okay, something like that. Okay. So now I'm gonna say Dr. Vishy is the second doctor. Let's say Dr. Anand, and there is Dr. Gauri. Okay. So these are the different people that I want to send a message to. Now, what will you do? You will basically then, this is already made. The message links are already made. It is basically, using some formula in the backend, and I'll show you that formula as well. It's basically hidden. It's just a simple formula that is created. But what it has done, the simple thing, the thing that I've done is the medical rep doesn't have to know anything. You just have to copy this entire bit and put it create an Excel file and send it to your medical rep. Like you have 20 medical reps, you'll create 20 files. That's the only thing. But most of it can be automated. So now what has this done is that I have created a WhatsApp link which will pre-populate the message that you wanted to send to that specific doctor. So this message has gone to Sreejith, which is myself. I put in my own number. Let me just go back to the next one. This is another number, right? So let me click on that, and it is sending this to somebody else. Now, if somebody, if a rep is opening this on their phone, again, they just click on that link. Automatically, it will open WhatsApp for them automatically, and it'll automatically pre-populate their WhatsApp with this message that you created over here. So this is a simple tool that was created. Now, the reason why I, this is a what you call a Stone Age method of doing this, but it's a cheap and easy way to do this as well. I'll quickly show you, what I do. As a, what my company does as well, which is basically taking this to the next level and automating this complete journey. Right now, you would have created an Excel file. You would have done all of this. Now, I'll quickly just change over to what YQ.social does. So basically, we do stuff like this only over WhatsApp, but say, plus level pe. Give me a second. Let me quickly share my screen. Vishy, can you help make Sreejith Mobile also a co-host?
Okay. Manisha, is that possible from your end?
I'll stop sharing here. Maybe you can, yeah. Is that?
Yeah, now you can try it.
Okay. Got it. Thank you. So now what we've enabled, just give me a second. Okay, got it. So, what we built this interesting tool which enables doctors to create personalized patient education content. So, I'll go through all of those different things that we were discussing. Are we adding value to a doctor's conversation? Are we adding value to doctors? Is the conversation real time? So you can keep, are we personalizing that conversation? And are we, measuring our interactions with, our customers, right? So these are the major things that we'll keep in mind. And let me quickly take you through the demo. So let's say YQ is the name of my bot. Now, the way that we've kind of built it is, there are two parts to this, and this is something that we're already doing for a major pharma company. I'll quickly take you through what it is that we're doing with them. And, then I'll also tell you about what are the other possible use cases. Some of these things are things that we've already built. So let's say I want to onboard a doctor. Now, you want to ensure that, the doctor is not somebody who's outside of yours. You don't want anybody to come in and do these things. So let's say onboard a doctor who is there in my CRM, right? So this is a sample doctor. Let me just. So it's somebody called Sreejith, test doctor. Let me just mute. I think there's somebody else also speaking. Okay. So it says, hey, this is the doctor's name and this is the doctor's phone number. Is this information correct? I'll say yes. So as an MR, I've gone to the doctor's cabin. I've explained what this solution is. The solution is basically a WhatsApp bot which enables the doctor to personalize patient education content for that doctor. Now, in this case, we are talking about we are going to take the example of a dentist, right? So now, what does the doctor get immediately? So the doctor gets a message immediately on his or her WhatsApp, which says, "Hey, I am YQ." So you can think of replacing YQ with your brand. So I'm from YQ.social, so I'm calling it YQ bot. Let's say you're from a company called Nutrify today. You can call yourself, I am Nutrify bot, right? So thanks for accepting the invite sent by Sreejith. Sreejith is the MR who's reached out to you. And what will the bot do? It will enable you to create high quality patient education content. So yes, I'm going to say hi YQ. Now it's going to take you through a quick setup, which is like a little less than a minute. There is obviously a consent that we have to take from your customer, which says that, hey, we'll be capturing some information about you to enable this service for you, right? So I'm going to say I agree. Now I have to put the name that I'm going to use for this. So I'm going to say Dr. Sreejith. Now I'm going to, let's say, okay, I'm going to enter my qualifications. Let me say MBBS. Okay, so there are a lot of personalization features that we built in. One of the personalization feature is that you can go to the extent of, there are videos obviously, you can go to the extent of having different voiceovers for your video, depending upon the narration gender that you choose. So I'm going to choose male. I'm going to say, let's say any place, that's fine. This is just random data. So I'm going to say all okay. Now, this is the kind of data, this is the kind of content that we create. So I'm going to now go ahead and basically, so it needs a photograph, right? To personalize that patient education content. I am going to create I'm going to take a picture of myself. So, there is like multiple things in the picture. I'm just taking a picture like this. And I sent it. So if you can see, there are, it's just my room, right? So there are multiple things in the backend. I was somewhere on the side of that picture. But what we're doing is something called a smart cropping, where there is some machine learning algorithm in the backend, which is figuring out where your face is and cropping it. So I'm saying, hey, I'm fine with this photo. I'm going to continue. I didn't like that photo though. I captured that mid conversation, but for the purpose of this demo, I'll continue with this. Okay, so I'm going to say hi YQ. And I'm going to create my first content. Okay. So let's say, there are multiple types of content that I can create. I can create videos or posters. Let's say I'll create a video. Okay, I want to create a video about wisdom teeth. So it says wisdom teeth understanding impactions. Let's say, okay, so like I said, again, there are multiple levels of personalization, customization possible with a tool like this. And all of this is running on WhatsApp. So this is interesting that a lot of you might not be aware of the power of WhatsApp in terms of being able to run these kind of flows, and that's what we kind of enable. Let's say I'm selecting Hindi. Now this is where I was talking earlier about real-time content personalization. This is where that magic happens. So I'm going to take it's going to be a 2-minute video, which is going to be personalized with Dr. Sreejith's details. So we're going to put Dr. Sreejith's, the whole point of the reason why we're doing this is to add trust for the patient, right? So whenever there is a doctor's picture and a doctor's qualification, it adds trust to whatever message that goes out to the patient. So this basically is a way in which you're adding value to both the doctor and as well as the patient. For the doctor, you're enabling personalization, etc. For the patient, you're adding that value of trustworthy content, right? So here it is. This is the content. I don't remember if I enabled audio, but so yeah, I think I forgot to enable audio. But this is basically, it's Hindi. I'm not sure you're getting the audio though, but it's fine. So basically, the personalization was at the beginning, and there is some personalization that is happening at the end of the whole video as well. Now, currently we're doing this. Just give me a second. So currently we're doing this on only 2 frames, which is just the beginning and the end. But it is possible to personalize every frame within that video if necessary, right? So in the middle of the video, you wanted to have some other kind of customization / personalization. That would also have been possible. For this purpose, we're just using a simple personalization at only at one point. So I'm going to say, okay. Now I'm going to create, let's say, I want to create some other kind of content. I'm going to go ahead and create content around. Let's say I'm going to create a poster. Okay. Let me pick up causes of tooth decay. And this time I'll create it in English. So images generally, get created immediately. Like you'll hardly have any time. You'll hardly take any time for this image to get personalized and sent to you within a matter of seconds. There is some patient education content which was personalized with the photo that I just took and my name and my qualification. And this is, let's say you are a dentist and somebody, a child comes to you with a plaque, and you want to send that information. You want to earlier, what would you have done? You would have given a handout. The kid would have on the way back made a paper airplane and thrown that handout on the way, right? But now you're going to just send this across to their their parents, the child's parent, on their WhatsApp, and they're going to be able to look back at it. So this is simple information about, hey, what is it that you should be doing and should not be doing. There are multiple other templates over here, right? Say, let's say you got a root canal treatment done. So as a dentist would generally say that, hey, you should eat this, you should not eat this, you should not eat for 30 minutes or 1 day or 2 days. So all of that information, instead of you would write it on your prescription pad, or over here, you can just create that content and send it as an image. So, while we were creating this, a lot of doctors found it useful, and they said, hey, this is good stuff. I want to be able to take a printout of this and put it in my clinic, right? So we enabled the creation of a PDF version of this as well, because what happens is an image, the quality is not that great. Like WhatsApp generally compresses image quality and it kills the image quality. So we've also enabled a personalized PDF creation as well. Again, this happens almost instantaneously. A PDF got generated, and this is something that you can send to your patients, or you can take a printout of it as well, right? So this is what is possible. Now, this kind of content can be used at multiple places by the doctor. The doctor can, take this, and let's say he or she wants to use it as, set as a, share as a status. I can do that as well, right? I can set this up as a status. A lot of doctors we've seen do this. So this is possible. And, you can also share it directly over WhatsApp. You can use it, and, if you have a Google business page, Google My Business page, you can, upload this content onto your Google My Business page. So there are multiple use cases for personalized content like this. So what we have built over here is a simple tool which is enabling you to personalize this content. So that's a quick demo of what we do. Now I'll quickly stop this demo and I'll take you to the other tools as well. Right. So there are a few other things that we've done with this tool. We've enabled, we are also doing something called case studies. Let's say there is a case study and you're trying to capture information from multiple physicians about certain, what would be the correct procedure, or what would be the correct dosage, or stuff like that. You can use it as a means to educate that physician or capture feedback, or, do polls, etc. And what is also possible is to enable, you can do charting in real time. You can create graphs in real time. Let's say 100 doctors responded to your poll. at each point, like as soon as somebody put in their option, you can give them a response, which is a real-time created graph for that case study, showing all the responses. So let's say 50% of doctors selected option A, 30% of doctors selected option B, and 20% selected option C, stuff like that, right? So that's also a use case that we kind of enabled for certain healthcare companies. Okay, so let me come back to the other two tools that I wanted to kind of take you through. Yeah, and while I was telling you about this, so another other thing that is possible with this is all of what we're doing, right? All of this is actually measurable in real time. All of the interactions with the doctors. Let's say the doctor has a query, or he or she wants to give us some feedback about certain content. That also happens in real time. We had doctors coming back and saying, "Hey, this content has some problems." Like immediately, as soon as the content went out, they said this content has some problem. We've taken it down. So that feedback becomes very fast. And doctors also, generally are happy with. We've got like something called an NPS is there, Net Promoter Score. We've got an NPS of over 68 with this thing. So what do we enable with YQ.social? We're helping people target better, which is you can create multiple segments basis your business data and the engagement of a doctor with the tool. We are providing personalized patient education content, and we are doing personalized messaging. We are also tracking the usage at real time, right? And we are bringing it all back into the customer 360 and understanding what a doctor likes or what your customer is liking, and being able to personalize and create different kinds of flows or different kinds of user journeys for those specific users. So that's what we do with YQ.social. I'll also quickly show you. Now these are two interesting things, right? Content and workflow, and these are kind of connected. So now everybody is moved on to video as the preferred mode of content. People are spending hours on YouTube and TikTok and its equivalents. Now you want to be able to, I don't know if you started seeing a lot of this content on YouTube, which is basically just, let's say if you see a lot of Hindustan Times content like this, or a lot of content which is like short videos, which look like they're auto-generated, right? Now, as a as a marketer, you want to quickly create auto-generate quick content. Let me just quickly show you a good easy way to kind of do this. Okay, so now let's say, okay, let's pick up something from Medscape. Okay. Okay, let's say I'm a pediatrician. Okay, let's pick up this subject, like mother, like doctor. Moms pass obesity risk to girls. Okay, so this is the name of the content. I'm going to pick all of this information. There is, tons of data over here. Now I'm gonna. It's interesting, right? I don't know how many of you use ChatGPT. I'm gonna do a quick ChatGPT thing. I'm gonna say, please convert this into content that a team can understand. Okay. The following. Let me say the following content. And I am going to, oh, sorry. Okay, let me just log in again. I think it's been some time since I kept it open. Okay. So say that again, please convert this content to something. Okay. So it'll just say, hey, okay, fine, I'll do that. I'm gonna just copy that content that I put over there. So I'll just wait for its response. Right. So now I'm going to send this content to ChatGPT. Now, because this is we know the problem with ChatGPT, as you would all have heard by now, is that ChatGPT has this problem of hallucinating. If you ask for just content directly, it might just give you content which is sometimes fake. But here, what we've given is we've given proper content and said, hey, okay, I want you to just simplify this content for me, right? So now, ChatGPT is going to give me this content. So let's give it like a minute. I don't know how many of you have used, tested it out, and how many of you have been amazed and surprised by how powerful a tool this is. It's going to be, really revolutionary once. So now I think we're at GPT 4. Once we're at GPT 4.5 and 5, things are going to be really different in the world. But yeah, or it could just be, somebody who's a technology enthusiast speaking, but yeah. Sorry. So, this content is not necessarily very readable, right? This is not content that you can directly create a video with. So that's why I'm kind of compressing this content and making a small, I'm simplifying it to the extent that it's a small video that I can then send to, I can use. So it's given me a much more simplified version. If I want a slightly more larger version, I can regenerate the response and it'll give me some other response. But let's take this, okay? Now, one more tool that is very interesting is this tool called Lumen 5. Now, what Lumen 5 does is that it enables you to just select, give it some text, right? You're going to just give it some text. I'm going to use this template, is selected randomly. And all that I'm going to do is copy and paste this content over here. And I'm going to say, because I've already used AI to generate a summary, I don't want Lumen's AI to do something. Let me just convert this to video. And this is where the magic happens. What Lumen is going to do is it's going to understand the intent of each of these sentences. It's going to pick up content from the internet, right? And it's automatically going to create a video with that. So it took me less than probably 5 minutes to get some data from the internet, convert it into a small, get a simplified version of it and convert it into a video. Now I can even do a automatic AI voiceover. Let me do this and let me show you a preview of this. So, sometimes, okay, I'll run you through, and then I'll also show you how to make this thing, how to kind of do small edits to make to change videos and change the stuff, etc. It's taking a little while. Oh, okay, because I took the AI voiceover also. Okay.
A new study found that girls between 4 and 9 years old were more likely to have a lot of fat and a high body mass index, BMI, if their mothers were overweight, but this wasn't the case for boys or their fathers. The researchers measured the fat and muscle in the children's bodies when they were 4, 6 to 7, and 8 to 9 years old. They also measured the mothers and
it basically created a video. I'm not happy with the audio that is there in the backend. I'm going to go to video. So I can change I can change this and I can use, some other audio if I want to, or, I can even bring in my own audio if I have to. And, say, let's say I didn't want this media. I want to select some other media for a family, or let's say father and son. So it's because it's talking about fathers and sons. So I want to, put this video instead, right? So I'm going to select this video and change this video, and that video is completely changed. So now it's a very simple tool for you to create content, not necessarily great content, but if you are trying to, if you want to run, like, you want to create one content per day, and that is your strategy. And that's why I took the example of Hindustan Times, because Hindustan Times, Brute, there are tons of these YouTube channels. What they'll do is they'll just take any random so they'll take any random topic of the day and create like a video like this, right? And this is a tool which will enable you to do that quickly and at scale. So this is Lumen 5. It's it's like free of cost for you to at least create videos like this. They'll put a small watermark at the end, but if that's something that you can easily edit out if you want to. But you can also, if you want to get a larger number of because the some of these are premium content, right? So some of this you might not be able to use. If you want to use that, you can get a paid version, but otherwise it's free of cost to use. So that's Lumen 5. I also wanted to quickly show you one more tool. We are out of time, but I just quickly show it to you and it's something that you can go ahead and explore by yourself. Again, a free tool. So it's something called Descript, because a lot of times in healthcare, we do a lot of webinars. And the thing that the thing with webinars is at the end of it, you want to create small snippets of that webinar, which are the most important parts of that webinar, and do retargeting to your doctors, right? So that's where that's where Descript comes into play. Descript enables you to, it's an easy content.
Hey there.
Okay,
Look at me
stop that.
down in the corner.
Right. So she can go to the site. So it's an easy way for you to edit your videos, right? So let's say this is the content, and what Descript will do is anytime you upload a video, it will automatically create a transcript for you. Now, this is the complete transcript for this video that was uploaded. Now, so this video is running
Hi
like
everyone,
this.
it's Tiff, and welcome back to my kitchen. I don't smile like that in real life.
Right.
Why do I?
So this is this is a part where you don't let's say in your webinar also, there were like in the initial bits, there was something that you didn't like, you want to delete that bit. So in a regular video editing tool, you would have to kind of go through the entire timeline and delete it. Here it's easy. I just deleted that. And
Hi everyone, it's Tiff, and welcome back to my kitchen. I just got back from a
so see, it's very simple, right? Now I want to add a little bit of add a little video or an image on top of it. I want to put a video of, let's say, a doctor over here. Yeah, I'm going to put that. And I'm going to overlay a doctor's image over there. And I'm going to just put it over here on a side. So it's just like, let's say she's thinking of a doctor, let's say, you can have that video, you can have that for some time. So Descript has its own tutorial. It will take you through all of this. I just want, because this is one use case that I see a lot of healthcare pharma folks using a lot of times. This is something that I wanted to quickly show to you. It's an easy, simple, free way to. Descript will put a watermark, but as long as you're fine with that, you can create a free, you can edit your videos for free and without being a video editor, right? You just need to be able to read text and delete what you don't like. So yeah, so I think I've crossed, I'm 5 minutes beyond the allotted time. I think we'll have 5 more minutes of question answer and then we can stop. So yeah, so Manoj Kumar has a question. He's asking, how is customer retention and customer engagement after using these tools? So like I said, we have a NPS of over 68, which is considered great by Net Promoter Score standards. And also the fact that, our repeat, if you look at it as a percentage of doctors who have come back and created multiple templates, right? So that's generally what you, in a digital, when you're creating a digital tool or digital engagement strategy, what you're looking for is something called stickiness. How many times is the customer coming back and reusing that service? So our stickiness is pretty high. Over 60% of doctors have come back and created more than 5 templates. Now, when I say more than 5 templates, that they could have actually created up to 10, because let's say there is English and Hindi for everything. So they could have created up to 10 content pieces. So that's pretty sticky by most standards. And I think on a monthly active users, more than let's say 60-70% of those customers are active on a monthly basis of all of the of the set of doctors that we actually target currently.
Well, well, Sreejith, is there any other questions if anyone has got a thought-provoking questions? Because few names which I get to see here, I think I have interacted with you in last webinar, and I believe most of you come from a core, the content space. Okay, so the beauty of the today's ecosystem is that everything is do it yourself. Okay, so as Sreejith has clearly mentioned that I liked it that at least he kept the strategy for the company like us. Okay, and the tactics is something which actually is very important. No one talks about the tactics in any real-time environment. So it enables you to go and do any kind of program, like any kind of outreach part. Okay, it's need not to be just with a hospital or pharma company. You can also use it for your own day-to-day engagement with your people. But it looks very good, Sreejith. Thanks for enlightening people with the tools like Descript, especially. Okay, and though last time you did mention me, that's what I also got and acquainted to it. Otherwise, I was not aware of it. But it literally threatens if my content head or the design head is part of this call. I would have been very happy that how they take it up forward. Okay, but saying that, I always say that every one of us got a mobile phone, and there is a lot of story that there's a good movies have been shooted through iPhone. Okay, but how many of us can do it? So the question goes back to the same as you need to have a great content strategy. Okay, and that content strategy would determine also your customer engagement and of these tools. The tools are amazing, but your content strategy needs to be in place. That would be my learning.
Yes.
But Sreejith's your solution is a true enabler for smaller organizations, especially. Okay, smaller team to start quickly. They don't have to wait for tomorrow. Okay, so that's something is great. But surprisingly, the larger organizations are using the services.
It's generally they have money to experiment, so that's how these things generally, I think, also start off. People, it's important, like and a couple of things, I'll keep repeating that phrase, right? It's important to do multiple experiments to know what works, and that is what all of these digital tools enable you to do. And you should have your larger strategy in place, and you should, within that strategy, you should do multiple experiments with your content, with your engagement strategy, to know what works for you, and then figure out what works and then start scaling. So that's where people like Vishy come into play, where they're able to, they come with experience and then figure out what kind of guide you through that whole process of running, how to run these experiments and how to scale those content strategies that you have.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Sreejith, again. And Sreejith has shared his all credentials. Okay, we very closely, some of our solutions have been enabled through Sreejith's platform, and we are working very closely for few of other projects together. And that's what I was excited to showcase this to the ecosystem. Okay, feel free to reach out directly to Sreejith or to Manisha, whomsoever, if you want. And we are happy enough to empower you and enable with the right content. Outreach would be in the word. Okay, so thank you very much, Sreejith, again. Thanks. And is any other questions? We can wait. You can put it in the chat.
Yeah.
You can take it up.
Yeah. So there was, I think, one question about analytics of your tool. How do you measure different metrics? So I'll just quickly take that because that was the one question that was there. So we, like I said, with a tool like this, we are capturing every transaction. So, whatever transaction is important is currently automatically captured and tracked, and and it goes back into your customer 360. So what I mean by a customer 360 is when you're doing an omni-channel engagement with your customer, you're reaching your customer physically, you're meeting your customer virtually, the customer is joining a webinar, the customer is creating patient education content on your chatbot, you're reaching your customer on email. All of this information comes into one place, and from there you can then start segmenting. Okay, this customer is more digital, less physical inclined, more physically, he or she likes more physical engagement than digital engagement. Then you start creating those strategies around how do I, knowing this about this customer, how do I go ahead and engage this customer. So that's what is possible with these tools. The analytics is like I said, every transaction we can capture the detail about the transaction, at what point, at what time was this transaction done. Let's say content was created, we know which doctor created what content in what language at what time. So for example, one something which is very interesting that we started using is whenever we push out new content, we know at what times customers start creating more and more content, right? If it's in the morning or if it's in the evening. So we've kind of started moving our content pushing strategy. Like whenever a new template gets created by InFocus and they give it to me, the content calendar is set up in such a way that we send out these contents on weekends and at specific times where doctors are more the chances of the doctor using it or creating the content using that template is more. So that kind of information also we are able to capture. And it's smart in the you can create smart segments also using the tool. Let's say a customer does more transactions in the morning versus a customer does more transactions in the evening. You can automatically start segmenting them. The tool is smart enough to automatically, you have to define the rule, but it will start creating those, putting customers into those segments automatically. So those kind of smart interventions are also possible.
Yeah, and one more thing I would like to add it, like, Sreejith was very specific to talk about pharmaceutical industry, but there are many, we have been using this for consumer connect also. Okay, that's basically how you use your CRM. Okay, and very beautifully, we are trying to enable to a hospital. The same thing, the content has been given to, rather than a pharma doing it, of the marketing team of, let's say, an example, the largest hospital, Apollo, they can give a cardiac oriented content to their cardiologist, and they can in turn use this particular, either they or their assistants can use it, and they can do the patient outreach. And so it's an ocean. We just opened the one layer of this application. Okay. So as I say that, come to us with your strategy. We have the right tactics, and the right tactics can be adopted through using the right content, design, and the technology. So technology is what Sreejith is enabling. Okay. And the content and design, Sreejith told that, how we can use it on our own, do it yourself. Okay. So have a right strategy in place. If not, we can work together and at least try to do a case and show you how it can be useful for your companies, your organization's outreach purpose. That's all, Sreejith. I think we extended by 18 minutes more. And any questions, feel free to reach us out. And with this, Sreejith, thank you very much for a very engaging, very practical, and something I can bet you, and after this webinar, I'm sure that already the people might have started using that tool. Okay. So that's quite interesting. And that's what I love, spending 1 hour, 2 hours in such kind of webinar. Thank you very much, Sreejith, again. And thanks the MedEduPro Manisha team for organizing this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.